Hello, hello, JJ DiGeronimo here, and today we are talking about another fantastic topic, galactic ancestors, and I have my dear friend Cassandra DeAnn with me today. Hello, Cassandra.
Hi, JJ. I'm so excited to chat with you about this today.
Uh, well, I came and recorded at Waterwood because it has such great energy. I would even say galactic energy. We just finished our first Starseed retreat here 2 weeks ago, and it was just incredibly powerful. So I knew the energy here would really appreciate you and the work that you're doing. So tell us a little bit about what is Galactic Ancestors?
Okay, awesome. Yeah. So when we're talking about looking at our galactic ancestors, we're looking at our connections to, things that go beyond what we know of here in this whole Earth experience, you could say. So I am a certified galactic astrologer, and part of that is helping to connect people with understanding their galactic heritage and kind of the lives and experiences that they've had, not just here on earth, but beyond what we know here of this present reality.
Okay, so let's break this down because I'm like, okay, so for someone who's never heard this before, the
Yeah.
concept that they might be somewhere else before here, is that for everybody or can you give us a little bit more context on that?
Beautiful question. Beautiful question. So, my personal perspective is that yes, that our soul's origination comes well beyond this earth experience, and we are all consciousness, sort of like experiencing all the different many layers of not just earth but beyond. So, I look at it as if we go back to the beginning, we have original source intelligence that had a thought of, I wonder what it would be like to know myself. And with this, it fragmented into pieces, which ultimately over time fragmented down to the I expression, the incarnation process, that physical experience in which we go through. So this is our consciousness extends so far beyond just earth. I mean, it's earth is a little newer into the picture. So our souls have had many journeys before all of this. Now, I hate to put definite labels on things. So it could be possible to have a very new soul. But from my work and what I've experienced, most of the time, everyone has had experiences of consciousness through other star systems, constellations, and honestly, even things like planets. So, yeah, it's really neat.
This is so exciting. And I'm sure that your frequency attracts certain types of souls. So it's no surprise that people who find you have had quite a soul journey. And I have to say, I did a galactic session with you, and it was so enlightening, so powerful. And I feel like it gave me permission to lean more into things that I get whispers about or things
Mhm.
that I felt like seemed familiar, but I have no experience with them. Do you find
Yeah.
that with other people you work with?
Absolutely, absolutely. In all of the readings I do, I find that our soul's journeys often have a flavor of certain themes that we go through and experience that play out in our present reality. And this is
Mm.
partly why I think it's so important to look at our soul's journey and the past lives, because you can think to yourself, well, why does this matter? Why does it matter to know, like, I was on this planet or that? That's, some people can look at that as fanciful or out of touch with reality, but really it is so important to understanding and having clarity on our present reality of what we're experiencing and why.
That's amazing. And I want to get into sort of how this found you, but just to add like another level of clarity, a lot of people have heard about like astrology, but
Yeah.
when you add galactic astrology, for somebody that's trying to decide between a natal astrology reading and a galactic astrology, why would people lean more into a galactic astrology to help them where they are now in their life?
Yeah, good question. So, when we're talking about natal astrology or Western astrology, basically what we're looking at is our natal chart as it relates to the planets and the constellations as far as the 12 zodiac, which is super important and all part of who we are. And so, a natal chart reading is wonderful. But as a galactic astrologer, we kind of take it a step further, and what that means is instead of just looking at the natal chart, we're using the natal chart, but we're adding on top of it additional layers. And this is looking at different fixed stars. So, for example, we'll look at the Lyran constellation, we'll look at the Boots constellation, where we have Arcturus, which I know a lot of people have heard of. So, we're looking at aspects in the chart connecting to these different constellations or fixed stars. And the galactic astrology chart helps us to map out where our soul journey is and the different incarnations we've had and connections and work we've done with these other stars. And part of a reading is also, I'm a Akashic Records reader. So you're not just getting the chart reading, but you're getting like a real in-depth look at past lives connected to these different placements. So it offers a lot of depth. So if anybody resonates with the concept of feeling like, I just don't know if I'm like, I don't feel at home, or feeling like you feel like an outsider, or you're drawn to cosmic things or extraterrestrials, definitely do a galactic astrology chart reading, because it will offer so much clarity and insights.
Oh, I love this. And thank you, Crystal. She's on with us live on YouTube and she's commenting that she's a proud Acurian. I didn't say that right.
That's okay.
And how do you say it?
Acturian. Yeah.
Acturian.
Yeah.
I love that. Acturian. So thank you, Crystal, for joining us. Oh gosh, well, this is so great because I feel like all the things that I share on Together We Seek podcast are really helping us just look at the different layers
Mhm.
of information, insight, experiences that oftentimes we're not exposed to. I mean, many of us do like a Myers-Briggs or a Strength Finder, but to
Right.
do a natal chart or a birth chart and then add on your galactic
Yeah.
astrology, I just think for me, what it's done for me is given me additional insight to who I am, where I've been, and what tools I can tap into in this lifetime.
Oh, yes. Yes, that's a very good point, because yes, anywhere you have been or incarnated. So, for example, looking at, I know I mentioned the Lyrans, you can look up the Lyran star seeds. If you've incarnated there, any characteristics of that star race you embody, that's part of you. That is part of your DNA. It is part of your essence. And it's just a matter of tapping into that. So in these past lives where we've had these abilities and these connections and ancient wisdom, that still is right there, a part of our essence of who we are. And to your point, tapping into that and realizing that is like connecting with home, connecting with family, connecting to those parts of you that you may have forgotten.
Well, if any of you are interested, all the links are below of Cassandra and how to reach her. I would say the other thing I loved about working with you is that you provided a lot of resources to me so that I had a lot of follow up to do and just so much good, rich content to just help me ponder
Mhm.
things that I may have had a glimpse of or a vision or things I wanted to do, but that didn't really make a lot of sense. Like
Yeah.
even last week, I mentioned I had a starseed retreat. Like I don't know if I would have done that a year ago, but I think through the readings and talking to people, I understand that that is part of my soul's journey and that I wanted to reactivate that energy so that I could tap into the wisdom that kind of came with my soul.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Awesome. I love it.
So, this is not, I'm sure you didn't get up one day and be like, okay, I'm going to do galactic astrology. So tell me, like, and follow your ancestors and the root of your soul. So, or the journey of your soul. So how did this come about for you?
Oh my gosh, I love that question. I fought it. I really fought it because I am, and that is another thing interesting about understanding myself and my soul origins. Is I had a spontaneous awakening, and I did a reading, and I had a light worker tell me, your soul's origin is a blueprinter. And they described me as someone that likes patterns and analytical. And I was like, I've never really felt that intelligent. I don't know if that's really me. And I just kind of was like, okay, they told me to get a couple books. One of them was Dolores Cannon, Keepers of the Garden. And I went months later to another reader. By the way, your soul origin is a blueprinter. And again, and I was like, okay, fine. You have my attention. I'll look into this. I never considered this sort of thing. I didn't believe in aliens or life outside of this reality. And so I was literally spoon fed it for like 2.5 years, to where my guides would say, drop signs in front of me, and I would just slowly digest it until finally I came around and was like, yes, like this is my story. And it's interesting because I am absolutely analytical. I love archetypes. I have a great attunement to patterns. And one of the biggest journeys learning about my soul origins is the balance of the head and the heart, which is, oh gosh, gets me all the time, all the time. The spiritual realm is comfortable. I like it there. The channelings and the visions and the things, but bringing it down to presence and living and participating in life. And, that has been a journey.
I bet, because I feel like sometimes the people that I cross paths with that have gifts, it's really hard to integrate here and to figure out how to offer your gifts to the world. So, how did you figure out how to take all these sort of whispers and synchronicities and turn it into something that you could offer, but also support yourself?
Yeah, I love that question. So yeah, I love to get. I've stumbled upon a reader, when I saw astrology in a different way. She was a galactic astrologer, and instantly I certified and went through the program. I started offering. I have different offerings that I do for clients, and I love. One of the reasons why I love it is also a way I feel like it allows me to get in touch with that magical side of myself. So it feels very supportive for me as well, because connecting with my inner child and being playful is something I also have to work on. So it's so neat to be reading the Akashic records and get these intricately detailed past lives that people have experienced, and you just get sucked in with the excitement of, oh my gosh, this is magical. And then to get on a call with someone I've never met before and say all of these things that feel otherworldly, and it just inspire and touch them on such a deep level. I've even had clients who start to cry even before they know the story. It just resonates with their body. So yeah, I ended up getting certified and offer, the readings, and it's kind of wonderful. Supports others and kind of supports myself in more than one way other than financially. So
Yes, I had to learn that too, that support comes in all different ways. We're taught that it's only the dollar, but really when you do a lot of work like we're doing, it comes to you in all different ways. And having that gratitude practice every day of just
yeah.
recognizing what's coming to you, because you have to teach yourself to look for things beyond the financial.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I love it. Yeah, I love
So you
that.
mentioned, people cry. I mean, and one of our guests that are online with us mentioned that, past life, there can be a crisis piece to it of like working
Mhm.
out things and working through things. Karma, maybe, like kind of working through that. So have you seen that? Have you had to do that yourself?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I have done that myself. It offered a lot of insights, honestly, to my marriage at the time. There was a lot of clarity. It's one of my favorite readings to do is actually galactic relationship readings, because I feel like we've all had conversations in which we say something and our partner takes it a completely different way, and you're like scratching your head. You're like, how did we get here? Like, what is going on? And so through my own chart, uncovering my soul's journey with this person over lives and lives, it brought so much clarity to both of us in realizing, okay, this is why this is your go-to. This is why this is my go-to. That's an example. Another example, one that was really challenging as a reader, but so magical, is I was reading for someone, and in their past life, their child went missing and ended up dying. And this, when I gave the reading, in their present life, their child went missing and ended up dying. And so talk about the richness of processing. Why did that happen? The layers, what was the lessons? And there was guidance that came through from her child, and it was just this magical healing moment. So yeah, it can be challenging, but the way I see it is, it takes sometimes that understanding and those hard to emotionally process moments to really get through the other side of clarity and growth and expansion, moving past the limitations.
I can appreciate that. And I can appreciate the work you do with people. I feel like it's a maze. You have to do a little bit of a lot of things to really kind of get to the core of things that are holding you back. Have you had
Mhm.
to do that personally and professionally?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And just even my certification process through Galactic Astrology, they warned us it would be very transformative. And it was. Like, there was a lot of healing that took place. I mean, I have my personal Galactic Astrology chart, and there's just notes and levels everywhere of which I understand. One of the biggest things I think I grabbed from my astrology, Galactic Astrology chart understanding, was there was a particular past life in which I was using my intuitive abilities towards ill intent, coerced through less than desirable intentions through another race. And I was manipulated and fell into that. And when I read my Galactic Astrology chart, my particular placement for notating this story journey was giving the story that basically, by being where I am now, by being an intuitive, by sharing my gifts for the greater good, I'm repaying a karma. And so I remembered in that moment feeling like, whoa, this isn't about being like, will people see me as crazy? Am I the odd man out? Like, is this unusual, weird thing? It's like, no, like, I'm, by embodying my essence of my energetic signature, which is when we're talking about astrology, galactic astrology, who I am, by embodying that, I am literally doing what my soul wanted to do, while also repaying a karmic debt to helping society versus harm. And that was really eye-opening for me.
I just feel like a lot of clearing right now. Like, just standing here, I feel like a lot of energy is just going down into my feet. And I feel like your work really helps people just clear some stuff, be aware of things that might not have been obvious to them, and maybe even help them on their path in a way that they haven't thought of before.
Right. I love that.
I love it too. I love it too. So tell us a little bit on what's on the horizon for you.
Oh, goodness. Well, right now I'm working with the divine feminine and balancing my divine feminine, which is connected to galactic astrology through there's a constellation called Hydra, which is actually a serpent, a large serpent constellation. And Hydra is very much connected with concepts of intuitive gifts, divine feminine, goddess like energy, tantra and sexuality and things like this. And this was an area of my life that was very repressed from my religious upbringing. I've been a very structured, emotionally reserved individual. And I had a particular placement happen with an eclipse that kind of activated that Hydra energy. And the universe was like, all right, Cassandra, it's time. And whew, it took my breath away. It completely transformed my life overnight. And I'm still just kind of taking each day step by step, but having a desire to help others with the same, challenges with expression, presence, and the divine feminine and sexuality. So that's kind of where I've been playing lately.
That is so beautiful. And I feel like the whole planet is going under a little bit of a shift and will continue to start balancing out the masculine and feminine, as some of
Yeah.
us know from even a decade ago, that shift started. So the fact that so many of us are really working on that, because when you come from the business world, or even your upbringing, it really does teach us to be so masculine, and feminine is so weak in so many of the translations that we get nonverbal or verbal. So really
Right.
balancing that out is so important right now as we start to shift the energy of the planet. Well,
Yeah.
Cassandra, I'm so excited you've been with us. I hope that many people reach out to you with the links below. We have your Instagram and your website. And as I mentioned, I've done some work with you and it's been really helpful. So I just want to thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's so fabulous. We have 3 more live events in July, and then we're taking a break in August, and we'll be back in September. So if you're listening and you want a topic that you want to know more about, please email me or DM me, because I'd like to share more conversations with those of you that are interested in exploring practices and maybe ancient wisdom that you've heard about but don't know about more about, that you want to know more about. So be sure to let us know. And Cassandra, I just appreciate the work that you've leaned into and the work that you're doing for the planet. So thank you so much for joining us, and keep up your energy and your wisdom and your sharing.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And with that, we'll see you next time. Thank you again.